Hi, my name is Peyton Brown, and I'll be presenting and comparing the AMLE and middle school journal publications. So here are the two that I selected. First being the middle school journal, published October 2016, titled Responding with Care to Young Adolescent Needs. Second being the AMLE magazine, published August 2014, volume 2, Motivating Students. So as far as the audience and layouts go, and comparing the two, middle school journal, primary audience would consist of educators, collegiate students of middle school education, and other professionals. For the AMLE magazine, it's going to have a wider array of audience focusing on middle school educators, principals, parents, and really anyone that's interested in learning about young adolescents. When comparing the layouts of both, the middle school journal will have fewer but much longer research-based articles. AMLE magazine will have many short and practice-based articles compared to the middle school journal. Comparing the contributors, for middle school journal, contributors are primarily university professors in a variety of different educational concentrations. Articles have a primary focus on research-based content. For AMLE magazine, contributors are principals, middle school teachers, active and retired, counselors, superintendents, social workers, college professors, and really anyone that works with young adolescents. So the middle school journal that I selected is, I said, volume 47, issue 5, Responding with Care to Young Adolescents' Needs. So some of the articles that were included in the journal, first being You Say Carino, I Say Caring, Latino Newcomer Immigrant Family in the Middle. This is with an increase in Latino students comes communication boundaries with parents and showing that you care about the well-being of their child. The article shares ways to help with communicating and encouraging communication with non-English speaking parents. The second article is the developmentally responsive middle school, meeting the needs of all students. And this is the one that I focused on, and we'll take a deeper dive in a few slides. Thirdly, disrupting complacency, helping students find their voices through inquiry and literature technology. And this article discusses an inquiry project in an 8th grade ELA class. Students blogged about a book and interviewed community members who share roles similar to the characters in the novel. And then the students created a research-based questions and developed a campaign designed to educate their school about their findings. And fourthly, creating a context for growth-focused assessment. And in this article, it focused on a case study of one teacher's development of a growth-centered context for classroom assessments. The findings were described by aligning the specific techniques used by this teacher to the growth mindset supportive instructional strategies noted in the literature, and then providing tips for implementation in a middle school grades classroom. So some of the contributors to the volume 47 issue 5 that I selected, there are going to be several or quite a few professors of middle grades education, an associate professor in the Department of Languages and Cultural Studies, associate professor of theater education, associate professor of educational psychology, associate professor of educational foundations. So this allows there to be an array of backgrounds and different perspectives from the creators of the article, but almost all of the contributors have experience teaching young adolescents in middle schools as part of their career. So the authors of the article that I selected, the developmentally responsive middle school, meeting the needs of all students, will be Chris M. Cook. He's a professor of middle grades graduate program director at Appalachian State University. Sean Faulkner is a professor of middle grades education at Northern Kentucky University. And also Penny Howe, associate professor of middle grades education at the University of Louisville. So the article that I selected is going to be the research-based article, and this is the one that I will be focusing on from Middle School Journal in this presentation. In this article, they focused on Nagle Middle School as a research study to examine how this school in Cincinnati, Ohio embraced and what makes middle school level education unique, in which some of the findings were that the school was very deep in understanding the developmental spectrum of the students, attention to professional behaviors and disposition of its teachers, the creation of supportive instructional organizational structure, and then development of healthy relationships among students, staff, teachers, and administrations. There were 4 key constructs examined, those being teacher disposition and professional behaviors, developmental spectrum, organizational structure, and relationship. So the first being teacher disposition and professional behaviors. Eagle Middle School exemplifies this construct with a great deal of emphasis on embracing character development, creating a caring community, and developing collaborative teams to impact student growth and learning. Students share comments like they are very caring, and they actually talk to us. They share some things about their life and their family, and the teachers can relate to us. And they smile and they act like they're happy to see us, and that we really belong here. Eagle Middle School is also heavily based on teacher collaboration, teaming, and common planning. Time is a critical role in providing teachers an opportunity to interact with one another and meet the needs of students, and teachers clearly acknowledge its importance in contributing to the professional atmosphere. Secondly was the developmental spectrum. And the developmental spectrum construct focuses on cognitive, emotional, moral, physical, and social development needs among the young adolescents. And Eagle Middle School works to create a school environment that is positive, safe, caring, and uplifting. This positive energy and understanding from teachers plays a critical role in helping establish positive learning environment where students feel welcomed and supported. Students have freedom and are trusted without being micromanaged. For instance, during the schedule at Eagle Middle School, during their lunch period, the students have the freedom and flexibility to decide whether to eat lunch or whether to visit the school store, use the restroom, or go to the media center. So students, like I said, are not micromanaged, and they feel trusted. Thirdly, the third construct is organizational structures. And this construct deals with the specific programs and practices such as teaming, common planning time, advisory programs designed to provide a developmental responsive educational experience for the students. And Eagle Middle School uses a traditional advisory program that provides an adult advocate for every child and allows students to explore relative issues of young adolescents. So as far as like peer relationships, family relationships, healthy living, character education, goal setting, and fosters positive relationships among students. What makes Eagle Middle School also different is they incorporate a web program, and this stands for Where Everyone Belongs. And as a middle school orientation, transition, peer monitoring program created by the Boomerang Project. And it's where 8th grade students are assigned a 7th grade class, and it provides support throughout the year. So these the peer mentors are available to help with the logistics of school days. So as far as scheduling, locker, organizational, and class content, or to assist peer with conflicts that may arise. And I also feel that this would be a great asset to incorporate this web program into our local school system as well, except for 6th grade, where they could all have 8th grade mentors. And then lastly will be the relationship aspect. So the last construct is examined is relationships, and Eagle Middle School holds a high value on maintaining strong relationships, whether that be with student to student, teacher to student, teacher to teacher, or school to community. The school uses various strategies to foster relationships that respond to the developmental needs of the students. Eagle Middle School utilizes the web program like I spoke previously. They use service learning projects, interdisciplinary teams, exploratory programs, clubs and athletic teams, and advisory programs, countless opportunities that allow students to interact with each other and develop caring relationships with adults and peers. So the research-based article takeaways. At a time that many grade schools feel pressure to eliminate programs and practices that serve as physical and social emotional needs of students to focus strictly on academic performance, NEAGLE has attempted to focus on the developmental of the whole child by negotiating time, space, and financial demands of doing so, while still placing important emphasis on student academic needs and performance. It seems that many school grades, middle grade schools are sadly focusing solely on academic performance of students and moving further and further away from the middle grade schools are designed to provide a developmentally responsive educational experience that helps develop well-rounded individuals. So the second publication will be the AMLE magazine, volume 2, issue 1. This is from August 14th, entitled Motivating Students. And this will be my practice-based article. So here are some of the articles that were included in this issue of AMLE magazine. First being student engagement from dating to commitment. And in this article, it focuses on how to judge the engagement of your student. It compares the engagement of your students to a relationship. So dating is about getting to know someone better. Engagement is about making a commitment, and marriage is about making a commitment to learn and grow together. Obviously, teachers want a marriage with their students. Secondly, is connecting the dots with the relationship. And this article focuses on techniques to better engage and building relationships with students. This might include making time for a lunchtime conversation with students, writing encouraging notes stating specifically what they were proud of, setting goals for grades, attending special events such as a student's concert or sporting events. Getting to know you is the third article. It is vitally important that students can get to know you as a teacher and a person at the beginning of the year to gain the trust and form bonds. Next article is what lies beneath school with an iceberg. And in this article, it compared schools to an iceberg. Above is the surface, what is most evident, what schools know and can do, and how they perform on a standardized test, whether that be good or bad. But the iceberg actually runs very deep, with the vast majority that drives students' learning and success is not shown on the surface. So this article goes on to talk about the different levels of the iceberg, such as the system supports, academic supports, and social emotional support. Next is the patient and tenaciousness teaching. This article talks about how teachers need to find the strength to do the patient thing as much as they can, even in those times it seems difficult. In the race to complete reports that move the immediate value-added measures of our teaching, we've lost sight of the one most powerful teaching tool, that being patience. And then the one that I focus on is motivating students with teachable moments. And so the contributors to Volume 2, Issue 1, you're going to have a professor of education, a former middle school teacher, Department of Educational Theory and Practice, instrumental middle school music teacher, former middle school English teacher, assistant superintendent, and one of the first nationally board certified teachers in America. So the article that I focused on was the motivating students with teachable moments, and the author is going to be Sandra Wojnowski or Wozniak, and she is a retired teacher of 33 years from Mount Olive Middle School in New Jersey, and now she currently serves on the executive board of the New Jersey Association for Middle Level Education. So in this article, it talks about the steps to creating and utilizing hot topics, current events, to lure students into learning instead of feeding them a bland diet of outdated textbooks, predictable writing prompts, and standard examples. So the following points are what Sandra focuses on when utilizing these hot topics in her classroom. So one being taking one step at a time, second being flexible. Thirdly, it uses a newsreader to let technology gather news in your subject area for you. And then what articles that are what articles are screened for young adolescents. So the first one being take one step at a time. So you do not have to, she said you don't have to find a teachable moment for all your content. So use them where they make sense. Start small and think big. Pay attention to any issues that are occurring in your own middle school. So she used an example of a race-based school mascot. So the closer that you can hit home with these students, the more interesting it will be to them and the more teachable moments that you can bring out. Secondly, she talks about being flexible. So teachable moments don't have to occur the same day the news report was brought or published. So bring them out when they become relevant. Keep in mind that it takes less than 5 minutes to include these news articles or news videos in your classroom, and almost all news segments can be found in a short video online. She talked about Scoop It. So use news readers and let technology gather news in your subject area. So Scoop It, it's a simple option for teachers to utilize. Just type in a suggestion for topics and Scoop It will find and archive the article for you. And she suggested typing in 2 different words that would maybe interest your students. So for example, my contents, American history, you type in like zombies and American Revolution, and sure enough, there'll be an article that pops up similar to it. So you type those in beside, and an article will pop up, and hopefully this will be very interesting for your students to read. And then lastly, she talks about articles that are screened for young adolescents. So this site, Is It? It delivers current events and questions on a daily basis for teachers to archive in the articles. So once a week, the articles includes an article that found, let's say, children were more distracting than cell phones to drivers. And this could be extremely interesting for the kids to learn and ponder and have great discussions that could spark from it. So the practice-based article takeaways. So educators feel constrained by test-driven or scripted curriculums focuses and the countless details that impinge on planning time, but your students have a better chance of retaining the information that you want them to if they learn and have articles that are interesting to them and that they can connect with. And then an article that I would like to add. I would think that the article that I would like to add would fit better in the AMLE magazine due to the content being a practice-based, in a practice-based format. I feel that many teachers do not understand how to and the importance of including special needs students into the classroom. I personally failed at this last year when I had a young girl with autism. I didn't understand the importance of speaking with the students before the first day of the class to get to know the students' interests, hobbies, and give them the chance to pick their seat. I also failed to differentiate more than I did, and I ultimately led this young girl to pretty much breaking her breaking point unintentionally. And this led to her crying in my class and me feeling like a terrible teacher and a terrible person. After this happened, I spoke with the young girl pretty much on a daily basis and built a really strong connection with her throughout the rest of the year, to the point where she really didn't want to leave my classroom. She'd ask if she could stay the rest of the day in my class, and the last day of school she told me that I was her favorite teacher. But I started to incorporate drawing portions into her assignments, as she was an amazing artist and she loved drawing. So this, among other experiences, led me to have a passion for this topic, and is why I feel that this article is really needed. This is the end of my presentation. If anyone has any questions, please let me know.